Welcome back, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. I hope you all had a very good Thanksgiving. I know I sure did. Ate a lot of food, probably gained a good 30 pounds in a day. So, yeah, all in all, pretty good Thanksgiving. Football was fantastic, I thought. Even though the games were a bit lopsided in some points, I know the Vikings-Lions game was probably the best of the day. Other two, just meh, but I don't know, a lot of fantasy points were scored throughout the day, a lot of people producing some points that we haven't seen in a while, but I'm not going to discuss any of the games today. We'll wait till next week to get the full matchups going and everything like that. So, anyway, it's just going to be me today. Brett is, everyone basically is off doing things with their family, which rightfully so. It's Thanksgiving. That's what you should be doing. That's what I did all day. I'm recording this late at night on Thursday, so all my family's asleep, everyone's asleep. But all in all, great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a good one too. Okay, today, as you guys probably know, is our League of Records show, but before that, I'm going to jump into our news section, and basically I'm just going to go over a bunch of injury news or injury updates on players that are playing on Sunday and Monday, and whether or not these people may be in or out. So before I start rattling off injuries, I do want to say Carson Palmer, David Johnson, unlikely to return this season. So if you are holding on to either of them, most notably David Johnson, if you're not in a keeper league or a dynasty league, I think it's safe to cut ties completely if you're still holding on to him. Chiefs go out and sign Darrelle Revis. Old man Revis going to Kansas City, which if you would have told me they had Darrelle Revis from about 5 years ago, and then say a secondary with Eric Berry, Marcus Peters, and Darrelle Revis, that is just absolutely filthy. That's like Seahawks level filthy when it comes to the secondary. But I don't know. We'll see what he can do at the old age and being out of the game for a little while. Okay, Tom Brady. Now we're getting into the news, or the injury news. Tom Brady's dealing with a minor Achilles injury. I think he's going to be fine. I don't see that being a big deal. However, if it does somehow linger or something like that, I could see it, God forbid, but I could see it becoming like a Kobe Bryant situation. Kobe had injury, or a few ankle injuries that were plaguing him for a while, and then his Achilles finally went in the playoffs when he was on the older side. But he came back and did fine after that. But you got to think about it. He's not. Tom Brady's no spring chicken, so. But I really do think it should be fine, especially for this week. Okay, sticking with the Patriots, Chris Hogan, Martellus Bennett did not practice on Thursday. I don't expect either of them to play, honestly. Charles Clay, Jordan Matthews, they are both dealing with knee injuries. They were limited on Thursday. I think both of them will play. Kelvin Benjamin, dealing with a knee injury, did not practice on Thursday. I still think he's going to be out. I think it might be a few weeks, honestly, for him. I do want to say I made the mistake on the last show saying Greg Olsen was already activated from the IR. That was a mistake. They haven't officially activated him yet. He is practicing. He said he felt good after Thursday's practice, but it remains to be seen whether he'll be activated for Sunday's game. So be wary of that. If he's not activated and something goes wrong, you need to get him out of your lineups. I think he will be. I think he's going to be good to go, and I think he's going to play well. He should be in your lineups at the tight end position. Cam Newton dealing with a minor thumb injury. He should be fine. Ty Montgomery, he's been dealing with a rib injury, still not practicing. I'm not so sure he's going to go in this game either. I think it's going to be more Jamal Williams and Devonta Mays. Unfortunately, he had a terrible debut last week, so hopefully he can rebound from that. Will Fuller dealing with a rib injury as well. He did not practice on Thursday. I still don't think he's going to play this week. Devonta Freeman was limited on Thursday. He was coming off the concussion. I think he'll actually be back this week. I don't know. I think he might be a little more limited. I think Tevin Coleman's going to get quite a bit of work. So I'm still kind of hesitant to play Freeman, but I think he will be out there. Julio Jones, dealing with an ankle and knee injury, was also limited. I think he'll be fine. Marquise Lee, limited with a knee injury. I actually think Lee's going to sit this game. Allen Hurns is still not practicing as well, so it might be a big D.D. Westbrook game, surprisingly. Jay Cutler, still in the concussion protocol. I think it's going to be Matt Moore. I think at some point they're going to have to say Matt Moore, or just cut ties with Jay Cutler, basically. It's not going anywhere. It was nice and flashy at the beginning of the year. Maybe it could lead to something, but at this point, you know you're not going anywhere this year. Jay Cutler's not going to lead you there. Matt Moore's not going to lead you there, but might as well stick with Matt Moore. He is at least going to be around a little bit longer than Cutler. And also, if Moore is out there, Kenny Stills is a fantastic play, and I think Devontae Parker is basically you can't play him with Matt Moore out there. He doesn't really look his way, and it's not the best of matchups with the Patriots this week as well. All right, Marshawn Lattimore may not play this week with an ankle injury. That's more good news for Sammy Watkins and Cooper Kupp. Lattimore has been arguably the best cornerback in the league this year. He's easily the best. I think he's going to get defensive rookie of the year. But if you're thinking about playing Sammy Watkins or Cooper Kupp with Robert Woods out, this is definitely a positive sign for them in the passing game. Juju Smith-Schuster did not practice with a hamstring injury. I think he'll be fine. I don't expect him to miss this week against the Packers. Granted, Packers have been struggling, so if they were to kind of rest him and get him healthy again, this would be a good week to do that. And then Rashard Matthews also did not practice with a hamstring injury. I think he'll be good to go as well. Okay, I'm going to jump into our KPT BALLAS Week 11 recap. I really don't think I've ever seen our league in this tight of a race. We have, I think, only 2 games separate the top 9, and we're in a 10-team league, so the majority of the league, obviously. Currently, Kevin and I are at 7-4. I've lost 3 straight games, unfortunately. It has been a struggle the past couple weeks for me. Matt, Peyton, Heather are at 6-5. Brett, Joseph, Bush, and Steele sit at 5-6. Joseph's on a 4-game winning streak. He's coming on very strong. Everyone's making the playoff push. And then Charles is at the bottom at 3-8. Okay, 3 awards to give out this week. I got the pickup of the week. Going to Steele for picking up Ben Roethlisberger. I think it was like he picked him up about 3 hours before Thursday Night Football. And Big Ben has easily his best game of the year. Throws 4 touchdowns, 28 points overall, and helps him get the win. Let's see. Next award. The Who Cares? I Won award. It's going to Matt. And this award is for starting a player that got negative points, but it didn't matter. Matt still won his matchup. But he started Nelson Aguilar, who scored negative 0.2 fantasy points. But Matt still, I think he was the highest scorer in the league this week, scoring 140 points. He had Adam Thielen. He had Antonio Brown. Nelson Aguilar scored negative points. Didn't matter whatsoever. All right, last award is the WTF award. It's going to Charles. I've been dogging Charles a little bit lately. I know he's been dealing a lot with his job this year, and fantasy football is probably not his priority right now. So I guess careers in life are a little more important than fantasy football. Maybe not for me, but but for real people. So yeah, Charles gets the WTF award for starting Jeremy Hill, who is on the IR, obviously. So hopefully he won't make that mistake again. Obviously, we don't want people playing players that are inactive. All right, jumping into the waiver wire ads from the week. Not that many. There's some exciting names, but they're more, I don't know, wait and see what happens. Good flyers. Peyton goes out, picks up Alex Collins, who got dropped last week, and picks up Kenny Stills, who, if Matt Moore's a quarterback, Kenny Stills is a fantastic play. Kevin gets Devontae Booker. We've seen Booker get slowly eased into the offense, and now he's almost at a 50-50 split with C.J. Anderson. And now there's a new offensive coordinator in Denver, so might be more Booker than C.J. Anderson. We'll just have to wait and see. Joseph picks up Phillip Rivers and Hunter Henry. Going to have a nice combo there. Actually, I can already tell you that game's already been over with, obviously. If you're listening to this on Friday, Hunter Henry actually had a good game for once. It's been a while since he's found the end zone. And then finally, Steele picks up Damian Williams and Corey Coleman. Love that Corey Coleman pickup. He already has Josh Gordon, so I don't think I've ever seen a team with... It's never pretty to see a team with two Browns players on it, but Corey Coleman, Josh Gordon, Coleman's been getting targets left and right in that offense. There's no one else to throw to, so might as well. Corey Coleman's a very, very talented receiver. Okay, Week 12 matchups. I will be playing Brett. I'm actually playing Brett in 2 leagues, so we got the podcast duo going up against each other. It's going to be a busy week. Kevin's going up against Charles. Steele's playing Peyton. Joseph's playing Heather. And then Matt is playing Bush. So, like I said before, the playoff race is wide open. Anybody could miss. Anybody could make. It's been a very, very crazy season thus far. So I know I desperately need a win this week in all of my leagues. Okay, last little segment. I kind of came up with this the other day. Sorry, this is going to be a really short episode, I can already tell. But it's just me talking, and I'm trying to get this thing done. So, this segment I came up with inspired by the Thanksgiving holiday and the festivities. So, I just compiled some of my favorite Thanksgiving food, and I turned them into awards for fantasy players. So, we'll see how this goes. Maybe, it might be nonsense. It might just be me talking crazy. But hopefully it'll make sense to you guys, and hopefully it'll be a little fun. So, number 1, the MVP, the turkey. Turkey is the MVP of the fantasy season thus far. If you listen to, I think, our midseason awards show a few weeks back, you already kind of heard this, but Turkey MVP going to Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley has been phenomenal this year. Incredible bounce-back year for him. Sean McVay has really turned things around in L.A. I almost said St. Louis, but L.A. And Todd Gurley is at the forefront of that. He is clearly the best player on that offense. Jared Goff actually has a passing game. The Rams have an offensive line now, and Todd Gurley is just leading the way. He's the only player in the top 10 overall positions that's not a QB. And that's usually when you look for like star players in fantasy that aren't quarterbacks, you look and see how they rank compared to quarterbacks. And that's if they're up there in the top 10 up with those quarterbacks, you know they're putting up some serious points. So yeah, Todd Gurley is the turkey, the MVP. Okay, number 2. Mashed potatoes. Good old mashed potatoes. You can't have Thanksgiving without mashed potatoes, or potatoes of some sort. But this goes to, this award's going to be coincided with Mr. Consistent. Mashed potatoes are always, potatoes are just so consistent. They're good with any meal, and Thanksgiving is perfect for them. So Mr. Consistent, DeAndre Hopkins. He's had 70 yards or a touchdown in every game this year. And even, the fact that he's doing this with the quarterback situation down there, they started the season with Tom Savage, went to Deshaun Watson. Watson and Hopkins blew up there for 7 weeks, and then now he's back to Savage, and he's been consistent through it all. So, there's nothing but love here for DeAndre Hopkins at this point. Okay, next. Stuffing. Gotta have stuffing on Thanksgiving. It's one of the best parts of Thanksgiving because it's pretty much the only time of year where anyone eats stuffing. But this is the behind-the-scenes stud. Stuffing, obviously, it's kind of pushed to the side a lot of the times, but always, always great to have the stud, behind-the-scenes stud. So that's going to Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman, surprisingly, obviously we saw him get the start last week with Devonta Freeman out, but we've been kind of dogging on Tevin Coleman all year. We're just like, he's not even doing anything close to what he was doing last year. And honestly, I mean, he's not really, but he's been a stud. He's been consistent. He's a top 15 running back right now, and that's in standard leagues. So, and with Devonta Freeman possibly, I mean, injuries lingering, Coleman's going to get even more work. And even with Freeman in there, he's getting tons of work as it is. Tevin Coleman's a fantastic running back. He's an absolute stud. He just hasn't had a prominent role yet. And if he ever does, oh my gosh, look out. He's a top 5 running back in my opinion. All right, turnip greens. A lot of people don't like turnip greens. I've gotten a lot of flack for saying I love them. I love me some turnip greens, love me some collard greens. So this award, like I said, you might not like it, but they're reliable. The player that's you might not like, but they're reliable. It's going to Alex Smith. It's never pretty or fun to start Alex Smith. We've seen what he's done in the past. He's been like the game manager, the guy who doesn't put up that many flashy fantasy numbers. But this year has been a different story. You've been able to roll him out there on most weeks. Last week wasn't the best example. He kind of had a bad week there. Kansas City's been struggling of late. But Alex Smith, he's top 5 quarterback right now. He's had multiple 20-point weeks. He's just going out there and producing fantasy points, which, I mean, at the quarterback position, you want that consistency. So, even though you might not like starting them, like the turnip greens, you might not like eating them all the time, but I think they're pretty reliable, especially in my opinion. I love me some turnips. Okay, last one, the dessert, the pecan pie. Pecan pie is the pinnacle of pies, in my opinion. Even above the coveted apple pie, and even above pumpkin pie, but pecan pie is the best. It's the best there is. So this is, obviously it's the dessert. It's the final thing you eat after your Thanksgiving feast. So this is going to the boom player, the cherry on top, if you will. Going to Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara has bursted onto the scene. He's arguably, honestly, you could argue him as the best rookie running back, even above Kareem Hunt, even above Fournette, definitely above McCaffrey already. But Alvin Kamara, he's the running back 7, and he's not even the starter on his team. How do you even do that as a rookie? That's the Saints' prolific offense is just adding. It's just fuel to the fire, and Alvin Kamara is taking advantage of it. Mark Ingram's obviously the lead back. I think Mark Ingram's top 5 running back at this point. But Alvin Kamara, he's right there, and he's producing every week, even in the backup role. This is easily. I know I mentioned Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman a minute ago, but there's no better duo in the league at the moment than Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. So Alvin Kamara, you're the pecan pie. You're the sweet dessert at the end of the meal. Okay. So hopefully you like that segment, a little different than what we normally do. But that's going to be all for today. We will be back next week. We're going to have a regular slate of shows next week, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday shows. Then on next Friday, we will be going up to Green Bay to see the Packers take on the Buccaneers. If you've been listening, you already know this. And the week after that, we may or may not have a full slate of episodes. We'll just have to see how it goes and how the trip goes and when we get back or anything. But hopefully we're going to, I'll be tweeting and hopefully putting some Instagram and Facebook posts up while we're up there, trying to highlight the trip as a whole. So that's going to be our show for today. Just a reminder, go check out our previous 2 shows from this week, our Week 11 recap and our Week 12 preview show. Got our coveted starts and sits over there. I know there's already been 3 games, the Thanksgiving games. I think we only put 1 start or sit in there, so there's still a lot of names on there that can benefit you for the rest of the week. So make sure you go and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the423football. Like us on Facebook. Leave your comments and questions. Love to have a mailbag show eventually, so get the questions in. So share us with the world, and thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.